Check, check, test, test. Hello. All right. So we are going to get this live stream started. This is the live stream comedy show on Tiffany's Big Deck. Woo! Give it up for Tiffany and her big deck, everybody. This is nice. It's a nice location here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to live stream this show. Hey, Johnny, what's up? Come on over. Yeah, this house right here, man. Come through the garage. Come through the garage. All right, so yeah, we're going to get this show started. I will be your MC. My name is Joseph Rogers. For those of you that don't know, I will share something about you. My oldest son recently caught me twerking. Yeah, that was an awkward moment between a father and a son. You know, you're trying to be a role model, and when you get caught twerking and your son asks you what the fuck you're doing, it's weird. It's weird. I said, I'm trying out some new dance moves. He goes, that's not new, Dad. That's twerking. That's been around for a while. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't know that. Is it just me, or does twerking sound like working while you're tweaking? Like, damn, I got a big job to do. I better fucking get some twerking down. Oh, this is going to be an issue. People are going to send me messages, and it's going to pop up on the live stream. This is great. This is fucking great. Yeah, this is great. Awesome. This is, oh. Sometimes I have to mess with my web browser, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I need to do another sound check. So what I'll do is I will bring up your first comedian, everybody. He just graduated TCC. He's a class of 2020, training your dragon to tell jokes. I don't know what the show's called, sorry. But everybody give a warm welcome to John Ludwig.
Hey, thanks, Joe. We're going to do a short set. Some of my favorites that I did the other night at Tacoma Comedy Club for our graduation. Let's see, where do we start? That's a good one. I'm having brain fart. Okay. Alcoholics Anonymous is for quitters. And if there's any quitters out there, I'm happy for you. But I quit too. I quit smoking. I gave up smoking for vaping, and I gave up vaping for pot, and I gave up pot for cocaine. But at this point, I'm pretty much tobacco free, so I guess I'm okay there. I was our grocery store has a new employees and stocking the shelves, and I was in the store doing my grocery shopping, and I look on my list and I go, oh, okay, I need some strawberry jelly. So I go down the aisle and there's a strawberry jelly, and over here is a grape jelly, and in between is the KY jelly. So I know what you're thinking, and I was thinking the same thing. I wonder where the condoms are. So I went down to the meat department, and there's the sausage, but there's no condoms. Nowhere. No condoms, nowhere. So I continue on my shopping, and I go, oh, there they are, right next to the cucumbers. Who would have thunk? Hi, Joe. I see you. You see me. We see each other. Oh, no, you just do your thing. Yeah. I'm seeing a delay on the other screen. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't focus on that.
Oh, I don't. You know, they say happy life, happy wife. And the part I had trouble dealing with when I was married was, you want to be right or you want to be happy. Billy, have you got it figured out yet? So the correct answer is no, right? Okay. So,
it takes about 10 years to figure out, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. 10 years. I worked on it for more than that, and I still didn't get it right. But anyway, the point being is, the second part was really hard because there were occasions when I was a real happy man. Not very often, but once in a while. So I'm going to set the stage for you. It's a beautiful day. I'm on the back patio, kind of like right here. And the wife's down in the garden, and she's weeding, and all I can see is her backside. And I say, honey, your butt's getting big. She looks around at me and she smiles, and I go, all right, yeah, this could be pretty good. So I sit there for a little while and I go, honey, I'll bet you that your butt is bigger than our barbecue. Well, she turns her head around, she smiles, and she blows me a kiss. I'm thinking, all right, yeah, I'm liking this. So I sit there for a minute and I grab up my tape and I walk down and I measure her butt. I step back on the patio and I say, you know, honey, for the first time, I was right. The tape doesn't lie. Your butt is 2 inches bigger than our barbecue. She turns her head around, she smiles at me, she blows me a kiss, and then she flips me off. And I'm thinking, damn, I guess I need to work on my communication skills. So the evening comes to an end. She's already in bed facing away from me. And I climb in and I snuggle up real close because I'm feeling just a little bit frisky. I wrap my arm around her waist and I give her a little squeeze. Nothing. There's nothing there. So I kiss her on the ear. That usually works. And I still got nothing. Damn. So I reach over in a nightstand, I grab this little hand mirror and I stick it under her nose. She's alive. I tell you, she's alive. So she's got this erogenous mole. That's right. I said erogenous mole. So I'm kissing it and I'm tonguing it and I'm working it for everything I've got. You know what I got? I got nothing. I got nothing. So she rolls over, she pushes me away, and she gives me the look. And I know what the look is. Billy, you know what the look is when you've screwed up. Yeah, that look. She says to me, you don't really think that I'm going to fire up this big-ass barbecue for one teeny little weenie. Oh, man. Oh. Honey, do you want the cucumber? That's my time. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, John. Woo! Yeah, give it up for John, everybody. Yeah, thank you. So who has the small weenie? I don't know. I don't know. So here's the thing. I have a couple kids. I'll share this with you real quick. I think that kids don't understand what it's like to be an OG gamer, right? They just don't get it. For example, the other day, my kindergartner, on the last day of school, made a poster. It was so cute. His favorite color, his favorite show, his favorite activity. One of the things on there is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my son, he goes, I want to do what my daddy does. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. He wants to be a stand-up comedian, right? But when he says that, one of the parents in the audience says, well, what does your daddy do, boy? And my son says, he stays home and plays video games all day. I was like, oh, shit. And I grabbed my kid. I was like, hey, listen here, you little fucker. It's not easy being ranked in the top 100 of Call of Duty and Halo at the same time, okay? I'm putting in work. You don't know what it's like to have to save a princess from a toadstool or fucking stalk Carmen Sandiego all over the globe, do you? No, you don't. These kids, they don't know what it's like to have to survive on the Oregon Trail, man. That shit felt real, shooting squirrels and buffaloes, dying of dysentery. Fuck, man, that shit was crazy. Kids don't get it. They think they can just run out there and die and respawn, and it's all good, you know? It's like, that's the new generation, you know? I'm putting in work. Has anybody here ever beat Mario Brothers, the original, on Nintendo without dying one time? Yeah, exactly. I did that shit when I was like 10. I was hanging out at a friend's house, and I knew how to play Mario's Brother. I beat it before, but they wouldn't give me my turn to play. So I was like, you guys suck. I can beat this game without dying one time. And they're like, what? Really? And I was like, yeah. I was just lying out of my ass to get a turn to play. And I fucking did it. I warped like a motherfucker, but I did it. And I was even shocked. I was so shocked, but I was trying to keep my cool. I was like, there you go. Controller drop. Yeah.
What did you have to do when you had to go pee? What did you do when you had to go pee?
Oh, dude, when you fucking when you warp through Mario, it doesn't take very long if you don't die. You can beat that in probably 20 minutes. Maybe less than that. But yeah, I didn't die. And I got down to that last fucking monkey that throws the hammers right before Bowser, and I was like, this is where I usually die every time. But I just fucking went for it, cleared that shit, my friends, and I was like, okay, I'm addicted. I'm a fucking gamer now. And that was in 1990.
I don't think they make games that you can beat in 20 minutes anymore.
Actually, yeah, you're right. I think there's a couple that they do, like some campaign modes that are pretty easy, but yeah.
Modes, but not games.
Yeah, not games, man. I tell you what, you try to go back and play Mario Brother now, that shit's fucking hard. Because we're spoiled now with games. You can like move in the air and jump. Now you can't do that shit no more, man. You got one traction when you jump. This shit's weird. It's hard. And the controller's all uncomfortable and shit. It's weird.
I can't believe Mario Brothers came out in 1984. You didn't beat it till 1990.
I was 4 in 1984. Are you trying to discredit me as a gamer, Billy? What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. Yeah, no shit. All right, so I think we're going to bring up our next comedian. I don't even know who it is, but yeah, I think you're ready. You're ready. All right, everybody.
Woohoo!
She hasn't been on stage in a really long time. She hasn't got to tell jokes in a really long time. She's an amazing, beautiful young lady. She fucking stepped wrong and broke her ankle. So everybody give a warm welcome to the walking and talking Allison Rose, everybody.
Thanks, Joe. What a great introduction that was. I don't know if they can see. Can you guys see my my situation? This is the first time I've been able to walk in about 3 months. I've been on crutches, and it feels really good. So yeah, I'm Allison Rose. I have notes because it's been a long time since I've been on stage. I'm 38 years old, and clearly I have a problem with gravity. Shut up. I'm blushing.
Did they hear that? I wouldn't have said a day over 21.
Aw. Thanks. Now you distracted me. I know. Okay, so there's a few things that you should know about me just before we get started, just so you can kind of understand my weirdness. So I was raised by a Jewish mom, a Catholic dad, but they raised me in a Hindu cult. And so for many years, my sisters and I identified as Hindus. But now we're all atheists. All of us, mom and dad too. The other thing that you should know about me is my first job was at McDonald's, and I think that it was really important. It really built like a lot of character having that kind of job. But the thing that my family won't let me live down is that while I worked at McDonald's, I was dating my supervisor. And his name was it was Ronald, and that's a true story. Like, he can't make this shit up. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so pre-COVID, I miss pre-COVID. I did not appreciate the life that I had before that. Like, I had a really good job. I had a dude that I was hanging out with and like doing like sexy stuff with. I had like all of my limbs were working. And now post-COVID, I am jobless. I'm alone, and I'm one limb less of functioning. Never alone. I feel like all of the gods got together, before COVID, and they were like, "Uh-oh, Allison's happy. Cue worldwide pandemic." Yeah. And then, like, don't get me started on the Black Lives Matter. I mean, like, shit's starting to open again. My ankle's starting to heal. I can start going out again. And all everybody wants to talk about is how cops are murdering innocent black people. And I'm like, when's it my turn? Save some attention for me. I'm working on that one. There's something there. Yeah, it's ironic. Black might keep going in
Check.
So anyway, I have an old dog. He's very old and he smells really bad. Like, if I had to describe it, it would be like he smells like impending death. He smells so bad that when I pet him, I literally gag. And it's rough because I love him. And so he's still my cuddle buddy. You know, we sit on the couch and we watch teenage high school drama TV show. And I pet him and I gag at the same time. And it's just a really ugly scene. It's a very unhealthy relationship. But the poor guy is so scared of fireworks that he ran away the other night and was really scared. But the good news is that a neighbor found him and returned him. And I am going to be honest, you guys, I was a little bit disappointed. I had imagined life without this smelly thing in my life, and it excited me. And don't tell him I told you that, please.
You're like, where are all the bald eagles at when you need them? Shit, bro.
So the last story I'm going to tell you is I got divorced a couple years ago, and in my transition, I had to move in with my dad, and that was at 36 years old. Not a great look. But what I learned from living with my dad is that I will never meet his standards. Like, I'm really bad with money. I date ridiculously terrible dudes, and I'm not very clean or tidy. But the thing that is his greatest disappointment in me is that no matter how many times he shows me how to do it, I can never, ever figure out how to fold a goddamn fitted sheet. There's something there. Fucking fitted sheets. Anyway, that's me. I'm Allison Rose. This was a
Woo! Thank you,
fun.
Allison. Yay.
Thanks for the polite laughter, everyone.
Check. 1, 2. I don't know why I was cutting out. Sorry about that.
Battery dying?
No, I don't think the battery's dying. Check. So I found this in my notebook a few weeks ago. Allison actually wrote this in my notebooks, and I just want to read this out loud because it's such a cool message. She didn't have to do this. It was really cool. It says, Joe, comedy in Kitsap has literally improved my mental health in amazing ways. I personally want to thank you for supporting me in my discovery of comedy. Because of you, I have built confidence and actually believe that I can do this. Thank you. I appreciate it. I super heart you. Allison. So thank you for that, Allison. I appreciate it. Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. You meant it, and it was legible. It was legible, which is really good still. Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to also add that I've been broke for so long now that I could tell the sound change makes when it drops and how much it is. Exactly. I fucking called that shit out the other day with my friends. Someone dropped some change. I was like, damn, that was 37 cents. Just like that, right? And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, I know the sound change makes, motherfucker, okay? And they look over and they see the change and they're like, damn, that is 37 cents. And they go, wait, no, that's actually 42 cents. And I was like, look again, that was a Canadian nickel. That shit don't count. That shit don't count. And isn't it frustrating when you're broke and you don't have a job and your friends are bragging all the time? They be bragging like, oh, I've been living paycheck to paycheck for 10 years. I'm like, bitch, I've been living no check to no check for 6 years. Try that on for size, man. Being broke changes you, man. It really does. It changes you. You fucking bargain shop. Okay, so check it out. This is how broke I was. I found out that count, right? So you can't be all willy-nilly with that $200. You got to invest that shit. You can't just go to the strip club and get a bunch of drugs. So what I did was I bought an ounce of weed, sold that ounce of weed, turned that $200 into $240. Bitch, I just made $40 writing myself a check. What do you guys know about that? That's broke life right there.
Hell yeah.
My bank can have $1 in it. My checking account can have $1 in it, and it will let me walk up to the ATM and take out $300. I think that's so awesome. Sure, they charge you $35, but that's worth it when you need $300 on a dime, right? You can also pull out $20, and they're still going to charge you $35. So that's why I pull out the max. You get the max out of that shit, man. I'll tell you what. My account's been negative like $400 for like 6 months. That shit ain't easy getting by. And now everything's debit, right? And you're like, fuck, I'm a cash guy. This sucks. And this is how long I've been broke. And it affects me, right? Just recently through the quarantine, my girlfriend and I, we were like, well, we got to spend a lot more time with each other. We didn't know what to expect, but some things we did were new. One of them was we're going to do something sassy in the bedroom, right? Motherfucking upgrade on Adobe fucking ruining up my live stream. So I go, what do you want to do? Let's spice it up in the bedroom during quarantine, right? She goes, well, one fantasy I've always had is you just ripping off lingerie off my body and just doing it. And I was like, ooh, that sounds hot. I can get behind that, right? She goes, go online and buy me some cheap lingerie. And one night when it comes in, we can just rip it off before we get into it, right? I was like, cool, totally down. So I do it. I buy a $15 lingerie from Amazon. It takes like 2.5 weeks to get there, right? Who knows where it was coming from? And so one night she puts on the lingerie, and we go and do the deed, right? And it comes time to rip it off of her and fulfill her fantasy of just ripping off her lingerie. And I go to do it, and I'm just like, I can't do it. And she's like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do it? And I was like, I paid $15 for this. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to ruin it, right? And I was just like, man, and I was thinking, I told her, I was like, I'm going to need another stimulus check if I'm going to rip this off of you. That's what it's come down to, man. We need another one. And, but, you know, here's the irony of it all. Is that I couldn't rip it off of her. I failed her in that. But then I ended up just like nutting on the lingerie and ruining it. So, yeah. Totally fucked that up. I mean, it would have been the same just ripping it apart, you know, fulfilling a fantasy. Fucked it up. Apparently it's a certain kind of fabric you shouldn't extrament on. Is that a good word for that? Extrament? Try to change it up so I'm not using the other words.
Some things just don't wash out, Joe.
That's true. That's true. I thought I saw something in your hair earlier. Fuck. All right. Well, we're going to bring up your next comedian. Who is next? Is it you? All right. Everybody, he is married to Tiffany's big deck. Everybody give it up to Billy Kimbo.
Thank you, Joe. So I guess if you guys can't tell by looking at me and where I'm standing at, I'm high on nature. And speaking of my hair, you know, living out in this area and stuff, I have to keep a brush on every corner of the house because every time I step outside, I collect shit like a Texas tumbleweed. I come walking in the house, I got to brush everything out. I'm like, here's a pine cone, here's a squirrel, here's a stray cat. Oh, man. One thing COVID it's cause for everything is like my poor neighbors. I got to smoke on the back deck all the time. You know how many times I got to look at these guys while I'm hacking and coughing and be like, I'm not dying. It's weed. Oh, man, we're coming up on our first anniversary of marriage, me and my wife, on the 6th. And I had to double check with her before I said that because I wasn't even sure on the date. But I know, normally. No heckling the comedian. I've learned something, though, in the last year, having 2 bonus daughters and equaling out with my sons and everything. You know, I have 5 teenagers altogether. And there's vastly different things between girls going through puberty and boys going through puberty. Like, girls will know way more about puberty than boys do. They know everything that's going on with their body. Like, when I was a kid, I saw the inside of what a girl's body looks like, and I thought it was a map for Six Flags. Like, I honestly didn't. I thought they gave out puberty in 6th grade health class. I didn't know that you actually had to go through that shit. And then when my oldest boy, he was the first one to start going through puberty, and I didn't find out until his mom called me up. And she's like, hey, I just walked in your son's room, and he left his computer on. And I was like, okay. Well, I found a naked picture of Marge Simpson on his computer, and I think he's been masturbating to it, and I don't know what to do about that. I was like, well, don't leave him around your single mom friends anymore. And she's like, no, seriously, Billy, what do you think I should start doing about this? I was like, well, you should start knocking on his bedroom door before you go in. She's like, no, do you think I should talk to him about it? I was like, not unless he whips it out of the kitchen table. I'm like, otherwise, the last thing anybody in the world wants to do is talk to their parents about masturbation. Like, and she's like, are you going to talk to him about it? I was like, why? He probably thinks he has a couple things he could teach me. But the girls is totally different. They want to tell you everything, more stuff than you even want to know. Like, and then they get like weirded out that you don't know certain things, you know? Like, my daughter came out one day and she looks at me and she's like, Billy, what do you think's harder to shave, testicles or vagina? And I know you guys have heard this before, but I'm doing it for the kids, okay? And usually when I do this joke, right, the entire crowd, people will yell out testicles, some people will yell out vagina, right? And every once in a while I'll get like a silent crowd with one person that just yells out one answer. And I always wonder, dude, did you take a vote before you came in here? Like, but I was like, she asked me, what do you think's harder to shave, testicles or vagina? And I was like, nope. And I walked away. And I went and told Mom, I was like, that was a bit weird for me. I don't know what to answer with that. She's like, why are you so awkward about these kind of questions? I was like, because I don't know the answer. She's like, look, you know, our oldest son just asked me a couple weeks ago how it is a woman could pee with a tampon in, and he's 19 years old. I was like, well, at 19 years old, a boy should know that kind of that answer. I mean, God, he's 19. Just out of curiosity, what'd you tell him? I told that into a club full of, like, blue-collar, just guys that had just gotten off the dock, like, lifting heavy shit all day kind of guys. And so they all looked at me in dead silence, and you can almost hear the crickets. And I was like, oh, shit, they don't know either. Oh, man. I'm half Irish and I'm half Mexican. My wife likes to call me a leprechaun. And growing up, like, obviously, with the way, you know, I dress and my demeanor and everything like that, there's a certain machismo that comes with Mexican culture. And my grandparents all thought I was gay, but I wasn't. But they were really very supportive about the whole thing, so I couldn't argue with them too much. Like, they used to call me Joto Mijo all the way up until I was like 23. And in case you people don't know any kind of Spanish, Joto Mijo translates into gay baby. And like I said, they were very supportive about the whole thing. So every time that we go somewhere, they'd be like, hey, meet the Joto Mijo. Every time we take him to a barbecue, we got burgers, we got wieners, he goes for the wieners. But have him talk to your sister, he'll do your hair, yo. It was weird growing up in that kind of culture and everything, you know. Like, we went through the 90s and everything, and I was telling Allison about this, you know, like a couple weeks ago. We were talking about the Black Lives Matter thing and everything, and when Rodney King first got beat and everything, everybody looked at each other and were like, oh, shit, this is getting kind of serious, and everybody was protesting. And I was like, Grandpa, should we all be mad? And he was like, shut the fuck up, fool. You're Mexican. They're leaving your ass alone right now. Let the white and black people fight this shit out. See who wins. And I'm not going to lie, you know, like, I was very devastated about the whole situation. And this one's a little dark, but no, I'm going to go ahead and skip that, actually. Good call. Moving on. Anyways, I am glad to be married, actually. I very much so love my wife, and she puts up with a lot of crap for me because, like, I am terrible with the dad jokes, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, like, people always hit her up and they're like, dude, it must be amazing being married to a comedian. You know, he's got to make you laugh all the time. And she's like, you're not married to him every day. Most days it's just like, please go somewhere else. And I do it with the dad jokes because, you know, I got so many kids now that, like, I really dig the dad jokes. Like, I feel like that's a rite of passage right there. I'm a good dad. I get to tell terrible jokes now that make my kids' eyes roll. That is amazing. So I get them with them all the damn time. The other day, and I put forth work into these, okay? The other day I was sitting there and I was watching a documentary on Lorena Bobbitt. And my daughter comes in and she's like, what you watching? I was like, I'm watching a documentary on Lorena Bobbitt. And for those, anybody that might have forgot, in the 90s, Lorena Bobbitt was being beat and raped by her husband. So she waited till he passed out, cut his wiener off, drove off in the car, threw it out the window on the side of the freeway. And so I explained the whole thing to my daughter, and she's like, oh, my God, did they find it? And I was like, oh, I'm lined up now. I was like, yeah, they found it. They used a special kind of dog, too. And she's like, oh, man, what kind of dog was it? And then the dad in me went, there it is. There it is. I went, a wiener dog? And she's like, oh, my God, how long have you been sitting out here watching this documentary to set this up? I was like, this is the third time I've watched this. In fact, I hit your mom with it. I'm not allowed in the room for the rest of the day. All right, that's all I got for the evening. Where's our host?
Woo! Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
All right. So here's the thing, people. What do we got going on? There was I was trying to think of good things that have happened since COVID, right? Naturally, one of the good things since COVID is now we're practicing social distancing, less awkward hugs and touching from friends, right? We're using masks now, so now we're spitting on each other less. That's a plus. It's always frustrating when you're trying to talk to a friend and he's spitting all over your face and you're trying to act like he's not doing that, you know? So that's a plus. What other pluses are there? Oh, there's been less school shootings. Yeah, there's that. You know, since school's been out. You don't hear about school shootings. So that's good. Post-COVID, good stuff. It's going to produce more babies on New Year's. Yeah. If you do the math since when quarantine started, all those and they also come out with like 6 arms and 4 legs and like 20 toes and shit, just all looking all weird and shit from all the drugs that are being done during quarantine, right? I don't know about you guys, man, but I've been indulging a little too much in the drugs since quarantine, just in case the world does end. I want to be able to go out on a high note. So there's that. Kids are all coming out funky looking. What would happen if a pregnant mother did LSD? You think that would bring out a weird looking baby? He came up to me recently. He's 17. He said, hey, Dad, I was just wondering, how do I know when I found the right one? And I was like, well, I want to be honest with him, right? Because it's good to be honest with your son when he asks.
Hell
His
no,
name's Chad Payton. Just so you know. He also stuck a teddy bear eyeball that he picked off and up his nose. Had to go to the hospital.
maybe you should have sent him a Christmas card once in a while, Chad Payton.
Yeah. And but here's the thing, he outsmarted me a couple times. And I was like, I'm playing with this like metal liquid, man. Look at it. I go, here, put it in your hand. He goes, I ain't putting that in my hand. And like walked away. I didn't even think about it. It turns out, you know what happened? I got mercury poisoning. Seconds clock. The seconds tick thing. Every second I can hear it from the yeah. So for a long time I thought puberty was just intense as fuck, bro. I thought that shit was intense as fuck. I was like, remember puberty when the walls were fucking talking to you and shit? You don't remember that? That didn't happen to you? It wasn't until I was 22 years old reading a Maxim magazine and they explained the side effects of mercury poisoning. And I was like, oh, shit.
It amazes me to hear that story, and then I think about, like, you read those history stories where they talk about the old mental hospitals, and that's what they would give people with psychosis and shit. And then they'd be like, I don't know why they're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I just fucking put
Give him
mercury
some
in his
cocaine
IV.
and mercury. There you go.
Yeah, fuck. Oh, yeah, he's crazy, bro. Here you go. So, yeah, I'll just end with this. I do think honesty with your kids is the best policy. I really do. It's just best to be honest up front. When you hide shit, they want to know what it is, and then they want to do it. It's not good. So I got tested recently, though. My oldest son came up to me again with another question. Honesty is the best policy. I tell him that. He said, Dad, I got a question. I go, yeah? He goes, I heard you and Mom having sex the other night. And I was like, oh, shit. First of all, son, that's not a question. He goes, no, the question is that I heard you and Mom having sex the other day, and I heard this noise, and I want to know what this noise is. And he goes, what's that clapping sound? And I was like, oh, shit. And this is my stepson, mind you, right? How do you be honest in this situation? How do you tell your stepson, well, son, I was just fucking your mom really hard, really fast? Like, you can't do that, right? You'll fuck them up. You know, stepkids are fucking protective of their mom, right? So I said, son, I'm just going to be honest with you. And this is the only thing I can think of. I said, sometimes when the sex is that good, you just got to give a round of applause. And he believed me, man. He soaked that shit up. And I know I fucked him up because one day he's going to meet someone special. He's going to have a great time with them. He's going to sit back and be like, yeah. give a round of applause, and they're gonna be like, "Are you fucking clapping at me right now? Who fucking raised you? Fucking weirdo." All right, so I think Johnny, you're gonna do a little set, right? Yeah. All right.
Right on.
So everybody, give a warm welcome to one of our local new guys, traveling all over the side of the country just recently. Give him a warm welcome, Johnny D. Woo!
I watched you roll that thing too. I was like, dude, is that thing half Labrador? What the fuck is that?
I smoke spliffs, you know. So anyway, I was reading in the newspaper today that they were talking about bringing back the Green Book. You know the Green Book? Seen the movie? It's a travel safety guide that was printed pre-civil rights for Black American travelers. It started with some New York Black citizens who were traveling and found that they weren't welcome just about anywhere. So they started compiling a list of places where it was safe for Black travelers to stop and get gas, fuel, food, stuff like that when they were traveling the countryside. And so in the Seattle Times this morning, they were talking about bringing that back in this age of strife and conflict. And I thought to myself, you know what? They don't need to bring back the Green Book. They need to start distributing the Glock book. Once motherfuckers start shooting back, they won't be harassed so much anymore. Anyway, lovely place.
Wearing mossy oak, so now I can actually see you.
But I'm not moving now.
I'm not a Tyrannosaurus, Johnny.
And I'm not moving now. I'm moving so slow.
I'm very disappointed you didn't wear a poncho
You
tonight.
can't even see me take this. Puff of this spliff there. Anyway, how you guys doing? You comfortable and at home? This is the first time I've seen you where your shoes didn't match your shirt.
Oh my God, that has been driving me crazy all night. You had to go point it out. Way to go, Johnny. I don't know if we
Just
can be friends
maxing
anymore.
and relaxing up in here.
Okay, I know they're
here.
Christmas colors. I'm having a seizure now. Thank you. And they didn't even match my nails either. My nails are purple. They don't match the red and the green.
So I was hanging out with Allison the other day, the talented comic we saw a few minutes ago. And there were a few people hanging out. It wasn't just me. I'm not that special. But we were having a conversation with this guy, and just out of the blue, he started talking about how he blew a tranny the other day. And that it cost him about $2,500. I was like, holy shit, dude. I mean, I know we're in the Northwest and you guys are a little more liberal up here than back in Texas where I'm from. But then he said it was a Chevy 350. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. What were you thinking?
I was thinking, I live in the Northwest. This story can go any way.
Right. But I really love it up here in the Northwest. There's so much to see, so many beautiful vistas. Just about everywhere you turn, I almost run off the highway. But that's why I made sure I got full coverage on my insurance. And you too can save 15%. I'm looking for a check on that one, Geico. All right, Billy, you want to fill in as host for the evening? Sure. Where'd Joe go? Is he taking a poop?
With the setup here.
You did a great job.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I think everything's looking good. Yeah, shout out to Manitou Park out in Tacoma where I grew up and fucking played sports, so I didn't do drugs all day. I was a teenager. That was cool. Does anybody else want to come up here and tell some jokes? Anybody else want to say something?
I just want to say that I'm super impressed with how big Tiffany's deck is.
Yeah, it's totally impressive. You mean from
Super
the front,
impressive.
you don't even really see anything.
Right.
And then when you come in the back, then you're like, holy shit.
You're like,
That's
God damn, can I handle
that is
how
a
big that deck is? I don't know.
I know. It's a huge deck. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. There you go, Billy. Grab that right there, bro. Oh, yeah. There you go. There we go.
You didn't even see him go by.
Nice. All right. Billy
man.
Campbell's going to talk some more about on the back
So
of Tiffany's deck.
I'm mainly back up here because I want to say hi, Lana. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do some of the older stuff that I have, like when me and my wife first started dating. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but me and my wife met in a very romantic way. It was very old school. We started talking on Tinder. And, you know, Tinder ended with marriage for us, so I think we kind of did that shit wrong. But when we first started talking and everything, like, I kind of thought she was a fake person. So I thought I'd mess with her a little bit. Her pictures just looked too photogenic. So I was like, yeah, this is a bot girl. And she asked me a question. I'd shoot her an answer. She's like, give me 3 reasons I should date you. And I was like, well, I don't eat cardboard. I'm 85% sure most of my hats aren't haunted. And I know yo-yo tricks. And she was like, you used all proper punctuation. What are you doing? And so we went out on our first date. And, you know, like, normally that might make me sound like a hoe, but she bought drinks the first date, and my grandpa taught me that if a woman buys you drinks all night, you put out, mijo. You don't be a tease. Anyways, when we went out on our first date, we were leaving towards the car and everything. There's this truck that drove by us, and we were deciding whose car we were going to go to first. And this truck drives by, and you can see a couple in the front seat, and the woman dips up and then dips down, and the man's face just goes into this shock. And you instantly knew what was going on. And she goes, oh, that is so romantic. Who's going to drive? And I was like, me. And we've been married, like I said, a year, and she's taller than me. You know, I'm only 5'6", which doesn't make any sense on why my kids keep asking me questions about puberty, because I am 38, I'm 5'6", I got 7 chest hairs, and my voice still cracks when I speak. Obviously, I fucking flunked puberty. But she's 5'11", and it doesn't bother me at all, but she keeps putting me on top of countertops to kiss me, and that gets a little annoying sometimes. And anytime she's mad at me, she hides my toys and shit on the top of the refrigerator. Man, I tease her a lot and stuff, but like, it was wonderful getting 2 bonus daughters and everything from the mess. And when I first met my bonus daughters, it was crazy. And this is actually a new one that you have not heard yet, so I'm going to roll this one out. She had an emergency. She had to work, and she needed a babysitter. And normally, I'm not the type of guy to meet a girl's kids. So we'd kind of kept our relationship down on the down low when it came to the children at first. But she needed a babysitter, and I was there. So she dropped the kids off at the house, you know. And at first, my oldest daughter, she comes walking up to me. And now, mind you, there's a story that goes along with this story. Now, my oldest daughter, she's a lesbian. And when she's been out for a while, but she used to have this boy in the neighborhood that kept picking on her about it. And we'd talk to the parents, we'd talk to the school and everything, nobody was doing anything about nothing. So I was like, you know what, honey? Fuck that, kick his ass. And she's like, Billy, I don't know how to throw a punch. And I was like, I'll teach you. And she's like, Billy, do you know how to throw a punch? And I was like, dude, I grew up in ghettos and stuff, you know. I know how to throw a punch. And she's like, yeah, I kind of just always figured you threw glitter at people and ran away. And I was like, okay, show me your moves. And she goes like this. And does this maneuver. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes, oh, I'm trying to look bigger so I feel, come off more intimidating. I was like, dude, he's a teenage boy, not a fucking bear, man. So when I first meet her and everything, you know, she comes walking into my kitchen, and I'm standing on the back porch, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and she didn't know it, but I've been flicking cigarette ashes into this soda can sitting next to me. And she comes out on the porch, and she's taller than me. She walks up like this, mean mugging, doing her bear thing. And I didn't realize that's what she was doing back then. But when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, my God, that girl was Deboing up on my ass. And she grabs my soda and yanks it off the railing, and she chugs it. And I was like, oh, that's going to end bad. And then she starts freaking on a rat. I was like, your mom might say no about that. And then I get a tug from the daughter, or from the youngest daughter. And she goes, youngest daughter's got my nails painted. I got my toenails did. And we became besties straight after that. And so later on, when we first told the girls that we were going to get married, and they were like, yes! I was like, whoo! I'm glad I got that reaction, right? And the youngest daughter goes, you know, I've tried burly jobs and stuff like that. Like, I've done concrete for an entire summer one time. And while all the other guys are standing out on the job site and they're catcalling women and people walking by and stuff, you know, hey, nice ass.
Those buccal teeth where it looks like you've been chewing on a metal container. And that's not good. You need to see someone's teeth before. Ooh, like that. Those people that drank the hand sanitizer and died. No.
Dude, I was born in Arizona and I've lived in Washington most of my life. When you fly a kite in Washington, rain follows the wind. You're not flying shit. You're flying a beacon.
I can see Billy getting picked up by. You choose that over all the other channels that are on.
Dude, I accidentally got stuck watching a no-hit game one time with the Seattle Mariners. Do you know what a no-hit fucking game is like watching? 2 hours of watching people play catch. That's all that is.
Especially if you don't know what a no hit means. You're like, what the fuck? Why is this so awesome? Why is he?
Rock show and you see the mosh pit and everybody slamming into each other and stuff. Like, everybody's going to be so conditioned from the 6 feet like rule. They're going to go to jump in and be like,
We can end it with that. We can just say, you know, Black Lives Matter. And as annoying as it is on social media to hear all the ignorance, I do like that people are calling it out. I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it might do much, but at least people are more active in calling that shit out when they see it. And the people that are against the protests, you can see who is showing their true colors. Really.
I'm watching my kids yell out, "Fuck the police," man. That's a proud moment as a dad. That's like, I'm not gonna lie. We've been like, I grew up in ghetto neighborhoods and stuff like that. I've been watching it my whole life, and to see people actually get up, you know, like, I actually praised the younger generation for this earlier. I was like, you know, we watched it for a long time, and every time shit like this this happens, these kids have stood up and said, "Hey, man, that's not fair. Let's go burn some shit down."
Yeah. Yeah.
And people might want to like argue about, okay, that's what you get for giving them, the participation trophies and stuff. But you know what? That taught them to start yelling when things weren't fair.
I gotta admit, when I saw him ripping everything out of an Old Navy, that made me feel really good. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The cheesecake was the best moment of 2020.
Like, if we can just get better about like skipping over all the small businesses and just destroying the Old Navies and the Targets and shit.
Watching that woman walk away just happy as a clam, all solo with that cheesecake, was the greatest moment.
You could tell she's been dreaming about it for quite some time.
Right?
Not in her budget usually.
You could see the drool through the mask. She was ready to go home.
And she was never seen again. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up. It's getting cold. The sun's going down. We got a fucking barbecue with good food. Thank you guys for the food. It was amazing. The beans, the burgers, the dogs.
You're welcome.